What's up, y'all? It's Leonard with Zen Holistic Fitness, and in this video, I'm going to show you my weighted reps day. So if you saw my previous video, I'll link it in the top corner of the screen. I explained to you my weekly training routine. It's a 5-day workout program. This is the 5th and final day in the program. The focus is just weighted reps, so weighted pull-ups, weighted dips, weighted push-ups, and the reason for this is because by training weighted calisthenics, you keep your body weight more functional, okay? So if you're just training planche, just training front lever, these are highly specific skills, meaning they have a very low degree of carryover. They're very specific and they're not very general. All right, so with that said, let's jump into the first exercise of this routine. For the first exercise of this routine, I'm doing weighted pull-ups. I'm using gymnastics rings. The benefit of gymnastics rings is they allow you to rotate your forearms and your hands, so that way you're going to put less stress on your elbow joint because you can naturally rotate your arms and find a comfortable range of motion. Whereas with the pull-up bar, your arms are fixed with your thumbs pointed towards each other. They can't rotate. But the main reason I'm using the gymnastics rings is because it's getting colder where I live and it's nicer to touch the wood than the metal. So I'm going to strap on the weight. If you don't have access to a weight vest or weight plates, find something around your house. You can fill a book bag. You can strap a giant water cooler across your waist. There's really a lot of ways you can add weight and add resistance to your workouts to continue progressing. So we're going to get a nice tight overhand grip on the rings. Hang and then pull.
When doing pull-ups, you want to imagine driving your elbows back. If you just focus on getting your chin up, you might be limiting your range of motion. In order to get your chest to the bar, imagine you are driving your elbows back like you were trying to hit someone with your elbows standing behind you. This form cue should allow you to generate more strength and more power and get more gains from this exercise.
Next up, we're doing weighted dips, okay? So I wrapped my dip bars with these resistance bands. What that does is it gives me more grip and it prevents my hands from touching the cold metal. So for the weighted dips, you really want to push your scapulas down. So you don't want your shoulders shrugged up towards your ears. You want them down and forward. Bend your elbows to 90 degrees. Push back up. We're going to go for 5 to 8 reps of weighted dips. Chin pointed, core engaged. Control the movement.
If you haven't seen by now, I made a Bodyweight Dips MasterClass video where I explain everything you need to know about dips. In that video, I give you all the proper form cues and techniques, and I show you the safest and most effective way to progress and get stronger. It's linked in the top corner of the screen and in the description, so be sure to check it out if you want to improve your dips.
When you're doing this, you really don't want your hips arched this way. You want your body rolled forward, okay? Posterior pelvic tilt as always. For the third exercise of this routine, we're doing weighted push-ups. When you train calisthenic skills like the planche, front lever, it might be back focused, it might be shoulder focused, but none of the advanced calisthenic skills really target the chest. So that's why we're going back to the basics with push-ups. I'm doing this on my dip bar with my stall ladder, and the reason is because it allows me to hang a water bottle off my waist. So I'm going to elevate our feet. By putting your feet on an incline, you make it more upper chest focused, okay? So elevate your feet, find a comfortable grip, engage your core.
Push-ups are one of the most useful exercises for building your chest with calisthenics. You want to try and keep your forearms perpendicular with the ground, meaning you want your forearms and the ground to form a 90-degree angle. Don't let your hips sag down when doing push-ups. Keep your abs engaged and core tight so your body remains stiff and rigid. Leave a comment down below if you want to see a push-ups masterclass video where I explain everything you need to know about push-ups.
For our next exercise, we have weighted straight arm raises. You can feel free to do this with a dumbbell. I don't have access to a dumbbell or weights, so I'm using resistance bands. So you're going to do this in a supinated grip, which means your pinkies face towards each other, your thumbs face away. This is going to condition your elbow joint and your bicep tendon, and it's going to help you strengthen your supinated full planche. So we're going to go for 10 reps all the way up. So we're going to go for 10 reps all the way up, all the way down. Then we're going to do 10 reps in the top range of motion like this, and then 10 reps in the bottom range of motion. For this movement, you really want to keep your hips rolled forward into posterior pelvic tilt and keep your shoulders contracted, so pushed forward, okay? So it's going to be 30 reps total. So this is a high rep set, guys. Retract your shoulders and begin.
When doing the straight arm raises, you need to make sure you are keeping your elbows locked. Squeeze your triceps and your biceps to put pressure on both sides of the elbow joint. By squeezing your triceps and biceps at the same time, you will keep your elbow joint stiff and rigid and safe from hyperextending.
Now without rest, we're going to do 10 reps of the top range of motion, the top half.
By just focusing on the top half range of motion of this exercise, we are directly training the same range of motion as the press to handstand. By training this specific range of motion, we will help strengthen our body to handle the demands of the planche press to handstand.
And then 10 reps of the bottom range of motion.
Now we are doing the bottom range of motion after we just fatigued our shoulders with 20 reps already. By continuing to push through the fatigue, you will cause deeper muscle fiber tears and generate more muscle growth over time.
Next up, we have hanging leg raises. The workout calls for using ankle weights to make the leg raises harder. However, I don't have a set of ankle weights, so I'm using a resistance band. If you remember the water bottle from earlier, when I was doing the weighted reps, I'm using the water bottle here to anchor my resistance band. So I'm going to put my feet in both of these straps. You guys are going to see what that looks like and how we use the resistance band. Once we have the resistance bands fastened around our feet, we're going to get a tight overhand grip on the bar. Keep our knees locked out. Raise to an L sit. Good. We're going to go for 8 reps.
The hanging leg raise is one of the most useful core exercises that gymnasts use to build solid core strength. You really want to work on your mind-muscle connection with this exercise and focus on actively contracting your abdomen to raise your legs up. Go slow and control your breath while doing this move. It's better to do less reps with better form than more reps with crappy form. Prioritize form over everything.
Next up, we have feet elevated pike push-ups. I'm doing this on my parallettes to allow me to get an increased range of motion. I'm going to be elevating my feet on this chair to add extra elevation. The pike push-up requires a lot of mobility and flexibility. So if you lack mobility and lack flexibility, it would be a good idea to loosen up your lower back, glutes, and hamstrings. So forward folds, lying toe touches are a great place to start to ensure you can fold your hips properly. We want to keep our scapulas protracted. So instead of retracting our shoulders back, we want our scapulas forward. We want our hips rolled forward into posterior pelvic tilt. And we want to press in this range of motion and keep everything tight in the core, okay? So we're going to go for 6 reps of feet elevated pike push-ups. And we're going to really, really prioritize good quality form, okay? So you grip the parallettes in a width that is comfortable. Elevate your feet.
The goal of the pike push-up is to mimic the handstand push-up. So to get the most out of the pike push-up, you want your body stacked vertically, just like when doing a handstand. With this move, it's very useful to film yourself and review the footage to ensure you are doing it properly. Try not to let your back arch. If your back is arching, it could be a sign that you lack the overhead pressing strength and your body is compensating with other muscles. To fix this, go to an easier progression and build strength in that progression.
For our final exercise of this routine, we are going to do lying reverse hyperextensions. So you can do this on a bench or really any elevated surface where you can stick your legs off. I'm doing this laying across my dip bars. I have a foam mat to make it more cushiony underneath my hips. So you put your hips on dip bars and you raise back like that, okay? So this is going to train your core, but it's also going to train your lower back, glutes, and hamstrings. So you can extend your legs out and keep your body rigid and stiff when you're doing a full planche, okay? The planche isn't just upper body, it's a full body exercise. So we're going to directly target the lower body portion of the planche with the reverse hyperextension. You can add ankle weights to make this more difficult. We're gonna go for 6 to 8 reps of reverse hyperextensions, okay? Let's go for it. The further you sit your hips back, the harder it's going to be. So if you have your hips super far forward, it's gonna be easier. Try and eventually get your hips off the bar so it's just your belly on the cushion, okay? So put your body on the cushion, group the top part, and begin.
The reverse hyperextension is one of the most neglected exercises. I rarely see people doing this move, but it is crucial for developing 360-degree core strength. Your core is not just your abs, it's your obliques and your lower back. By strengthening your lower back, you will be a more well-rounded athlete and less prone to injury. You need to do this exercise on a weekly basis. Do this move with control in a range of motion that you can comfortably manage.
That will conclude our weighted reps hypertrophy day. You do not want to neglect the basics, guys. You really want to be keeping up with the basics like pull up, targeting your weaknesses like your lower body, your glutes, your hamstrings, your lower back. You don't want to allow any weaknesses into the body. You want to address them before they lead to injuries. You want to keep your body weight functional. So hopefully you learned something valuable from this routine. If you like this video, click the like button. Comment what video you want to see next. Subscribe for more calisthenics content. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.